Hello, everyone, and welcome to Blissful. I'm your host, Deborah O'Brien, and I'm so happy to be here with you today. Thank you for tuning in, because I have a wonderful surprise for you today. We have with us an internationally known violinist and a highly acclaimed, sought-after photogenic artist. And you might know his name, Endre Balogh, because you know who he is? He's the guy who did all the photographs for the Not So Little Book of Surprises. So Endre, welcome. So
Thank
nice
you.
that you could be here.
It's a delight to be with you. Thank you.
I know a lot of my audience have read the book. It's,
Good.
yeah, it's very popular.
Well, that's good news.
I used it for Christmas presents this year. I gave a lot of people that book.
Oh, terrific. Thank you.
Oh, your work is so beautiful.
Oh, I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
It's just, you're so talented. What a gift.
Well, thank you. It's certainly, one of my, all my life, I've been able to be blessed to be either do music or art. And so both of those are passions of mine that in order to sort of bring beauty into the world, that's what I think I've been brought here to do. And so I'm glad that I'm able to do that.
Well, it's so wonderful. You know, the name of my show is Blissful.
Mm-hmm.
And people ask me all the time, what does that mean? And I always say, well, when you find bliss, then you're full.
Right. Well, that's
and I find when I look at your work, you know, the photographs in the book, they just make your soul so happy. That's bliss.
Well, that's certainly one of the things I like to do. I know, there are a lot of photographers, certainly in the last, maybe 30, 40 years of the history of photography that they don't feel that it's art unless it's showing somehow the dark side of humanity. I mean, people who are homeless or whatever. It's all of which is very good, but that doesn't preclude that artwork and photography should actually also be beautiful. And so frequently those kinds of photos are not beautiful by any objective standard that we've had up until the last 20, 30, 40 years. But so I'm part of my mission, at least with photography, is to always to have something that is aesthetically beautiful and that will touch the soul, because that's how really the human soul resonates to beauty and knows what beauty is, even if we have an overlay of secular mindset, materialist mindset that says no, that can't be art. But I really think that our souls resonate to beauty, and that's what I like to try to emulate and bring forth in my artwork.
Well, it's such a gift that you have to be able to do that to someone's soul. It's like amazing. I haven't heard any of your musical work, but I hear so many wonderful things about how gifted you are in music as well.
I started performing as a concert violinist when I was 4 years old. So
really, 4 years old.
Yeah. Well, it's very. I always write in my biography that I played concerts up until I was. I played concerts up until 2 weeks before I was born. My mother was in the Los Angeles Philharmonic, and back in those days, it was very rare for women to be in any orchestra. So she was, if you're a woman into being a feminist, she was one of the feminist trailblazers of being a woman in any orchestra. And so I actually have the concert program of the last concert she played 2 weeks before I was born. And then when I was born, the Los Angeles Times thought it would be neat to put together a little story about it. And so there's a picture of me in the Los Angeles Times with my mother holding a little 64th size violin under my chin in the basket, saying, well, here's a new violinist is just born. And so it's the only time that the Los Angeles Times has been correct in their predictions, I think, but they were correct, and sure enough, around 3.5, I started to play the violin, and then
really?
I did 9 concerts in public when I was 4, And then I played with the LA. Oh no, I played the first time as a soloist with an orchestra when I was 6 years old, and then played with the LA Philharmonic for the first time as a soloist when I was 8. And then from then on, have had a large career. I first gave my New York debut when I was 15, and then started concertizing and traveling around the world, and had a trio, also the Pacific Trio. And so we performed for about 30 years all around the world. And now I have another trio that we're working with. It's called the Emerson Trio. And so I've done a lot of concertizing, thousands and thousands of concerts in my life, and that's been my main focus. But then what happened was that I got tired of traveling around, because I would be gone for 6 or 8 months of the year, and I, my family and my children and wife, and so I said, well, I'll try to stay closer to home and still have concerts relatively nearby or whenever we would fly out somewhere, but didn't really quite pursue the active touring as much. And so that's what led to the photography and the artwork. And so I do a lot of now photo work for both on commission and then also for my own self. And so I'm a member of the Professional Photographers Association. If I can be a little bit of tell my history of that, is that every year the California professional photographers have their competition, and you're allowed to enter 6 photos into that competition. Then, based on the scores in that competition, they tell the top 10 photographers in California. So I was number 2 last year.
Really?
The number 2 photographer in California.
Wow.
And then also in the same year, the international competition, of which they had about 5,000 people enter, one is allowed to enter 4 photos and 4 artworks, and then they're judged by a jury, and if they pass a certain level, then they receive what's called merit, and then those merit photos are given to a separate jury, and that separate jury then decides the best of those to go into what's called the loan collection book. So if one gets, it's very hard to get one photo into the loan collection, because of course that's the best of the best. But last year, all 4 of my photos and 1 of my artworks made it into the loan collection, so I was considered a diamond photographer. There were only 35 in the world that achieved that. And
Really?
Yeah, so I'm very
Amazing.
proud. Yeah, and so some of those photos are in the well, there's actually one that was in the loan collection in a different year, a photo of a magnolia flower that's in the middle of the Not So Little Book of Surprises. So.
Oh, well, for my audience, what is your website so they can go there and look?
Well, yeah, it's very easy. Endre is spelled E-N-D-R-E. It's like Andre, only starts with an E. And so if you go to Endre's, E-N-D-R-E-S, of course you can't have an apostrophe in the web. So it's E-N-D-R-E-S art, A-R-T, endresart.com. It's very easy, endresart.com. And there I have all my photos, and everything is there, can be purchased, and they're all for sale, and in any kinds of configurations. So I enjoy putting up my work there, and I hope everybody can go and take a look at it.
Well, I hope so. I took a peek this afternoon, and I saw all those sacred geometry images.
Ah, yeah. Well, that's another separate area that I work with.
What is that?
Well, sacred geometry is very specifically a form of art. It's a very mandalas. I don't know if anybody may be familiar with the work of Carl Jung and mandalas. There are certain forms and certain geometric patterns that throughout the ages have been associated with the sacred. So for instance, like the Star of David, or there's Metatron's star, and there's certain things which, starting from the circle and then configurations of the circle as they move out and become what's called the flower of life, the seed of life. And all of these things are known as sacred geometry because they resonate to a very deep level in the sacred soul of every person, because they are geometric in their purity and form. And so I've begun to work with them several years ago and start to putting them together. And so now I have on my website, there's a little section there, a gallery, which is sacred geometry. And right now I've already made 633 of them that I've put up there. And I'm very well known. I think if people Google sacred geometry, and hit images. A number of those images will be mine. They're very popular. And
how do you make them?
Well, I make them with Photoshop. In Photoshop, I have brushes and various techniques. And I can't give you the exact URL, but if somebody's interested in seeing it, there's a YouTube channel. You can go and just put in my name, Endre, E-N-D-R-E, and last name Balogh, B-A-L-O-G-H, and maybe sacred geometry. And there are 2 time capture videos that I did of my making sacred geometry, and you can see how they sort of evolved from a blank page to the finished version. And so it's very much a meditative process for me. I start out really with nothing, and then I allow it to just sort of take over and find its way. Sometimes I'm very surprised by how much different the final result is from where I wind up, where I start. And I say, well, gee, you know, it took on a life of its own. And people say, well, how do you know when it's done? And I say, well, I just know it's done. So that's my so there's I think a lot of sort of meditative process to it, and people I think will resonate with them a lot because they do touch various aspects of people have said to me also that they're sort of like portals into another dimension. And so very, very honored by that, and hopefully I'm able to capture something of that. And so people meditate with them, and people get them and put them up on their walls and then meditate with them. It's very interesting because a lot of people find a certain one that they resonate to, and other people find a different one, and everyone seems to find the one that speaks to them. And so right now I'm on the way toward making 1,000 at some point, perhaps, and we'll see what happens. But you know, I make 1 or 2 every week, or sometimes I make several. Sometimes I don't make any in a few weeks, but they just come when they need to arrive, and then there's a new one. So
beautiful. Well, on your when I looked at some of your work, it was from all over the world. I was like, you really have traveled.
Oh yeah, well no, I take photos whenever I get to travel. So there's a gallery of photos from Israel. There's a gallery of photos from Germany. There's there's actually a lot of things that I haven't even put up yet. So I have stacked up stuff that.
You must be so busy.
Well, I've been busy putting together the book, you know, and that was a very big project. And so the Not So Little Book of Surprises was a tremendous project, and I was honored to be able to work with Deborah and Will Arnst, Will, of course, was the creator of What the Bleep Do We Know, which I'm sure a lot of your viewers have heard about. I mean, if they're into Bliss, then they certainly know that.
Yeah.
So that was a project that we all put together and decided to work on together. I've known Deborah for many, many years. And
I was going to ask you if you knew her before.
Yeah, so she's been a very close friend of mine for many, many years. And she, of course, is a very deep spiritual person, a mystic, and who teaches quite a unique version of spirituality. And so I've been doing artwork for her various projects for a long time. And then when this project came about, that Will wanted to actually put together a book that was called The Little Book of Surprises, which was going to be a little tiny book.
Yeah.
And that was just about 60 pages. And so we quickly stuck together a mock-up of it, and then he showed it to the publisher. The publisher just said, "Oh my goodness, this is wonderful!" And they wound up morphing from a little paperback into a 168-page coffee table book, which everyone can go online or buy and purchase. It's only, I think, $20, even less on Amazon.
Yeah.
And
really, I got them as Christmas gifts because they're just so full of beauty, and the images are breathtaking. Okay. And everyone I gave a book to, just loves them. And they tell people about it. So I got my books they ordered them for me at Barnes & Noble.
Barnes & Noble has them too.
Is there a special place that you ordered them from?
Well, Barnes & Noble has them. You can find them in the Barnes & Noble actual physical bookshop. You can find them online, of course, in Barnes & Noble. Amazon has them. And I don't know if anybody wants to see it. I have a copy here.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see it in that that's what it looks like.
I was wondering, Andre, can you just open it up to your favorite photograph? Can we see?
Oh my! Every page has something on it. You know, they're so different because, for instance, I have this is an artwork that I put together specifically for the book. That's sort of a collage of artwork, but it has and everything, of course, in the book goes along with the text of Deidre's that goes along the side. That's not so much a photograph as it's photographically inspired, and there are photographic elements in it. But, it's not.
Can you read the words on the other side?
Okay. Well, it says, "We are here at a time of new beginnings. It is a time to rethink everything that you have learned. It is a time to take perception and turn it on its head." And so there's the photo that would go with that, or the artwork, and. So that of course is a lot of fun, but you know, as to just actual photographs, well, everybody always likes this page because this was a photo of our cat.
Wow, what a beautiful cat!
Yeah, unfortunately he passed away, but he's our cat, and then there's a dandelion that I took a photograph of.
Oh, it's beautiful. You can make a dandelion look that beautiful.
Well, you know, with the wind blowing it was an idea of having the wind blowing. Yeah, and again, there's very inspiring text that goes with each one of those. Let me see if I can find something that's.
Well, what about those honey jars?
Oh well, the honey. That's an interesting thing. The honey. Deidre is a poet, and so she wrote a beautiful poem, which is a mystical poem. It really is a lot of mystical metaphor. It's not so much literal as it is a metaphoric poem. Of course, good poetry is always that way, and it's called "In the Honey Jars." And so the way that they decided to do that was to put the since it's a long poem, they split it up into 6 parts. And so as you go through the book, every maybe 30 pages or so, there's another photo of honey and the next part of the honey jars. So here for instance, is the first of the honey jars.
Oh, so beautiful.
That's a photo of honey. And that was we set that all up. I went out and shot photos of honey. We had a big photo shoot to do that. And well, you know, of course, bees make honey, so that's their photos of some bees.
That's beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah, well, they're very hard to photograph. I don't know if anyone's ever tried to photograph bees, but here's actually sort of a compilation. This is one of my sacred geometries that I use that as a basis for something else to put the road in underneath, and that's one of my sacred geometries. I can show you as we. Here's one of my favorite photographs, just in general. This is a photo of an egg.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Thank you.
Wow.
It's
how did you get it to do that?
You know what? It's that was a collaboration between myself and God, because I have very little to do with it. I cracked the egg on the table and let it do what it was going to do, and it sort of just I watched it move around, and then there it was, and then I shot a photo of it, and that's all. So,
that is great.
Let's see if I can find. Here's another honey. Since we were talking about the honey, that's the honey picture.
Just beautiful. Look, and there's a bee there.
There are 3 bees in that one.
Yeah, look at those bees.
Yeah. And then
must have been hard to get those bees to be.
Well, still. You know, there's always a way when you need to do it. This is one of my sacred geometries.
Oh, that's beautiful.
I
love that.
Yeah.
Isn't that wonderful?
Now the book itself was printed in one of the finest printing presses in the world. They do all of the Taschen art books. So those of your viewers who are familiar with the Taschen books know the quality of how beautifully this is printed. It's very, very solid paper, very thick paper, And
Yeah.
the colors are, actually I went and I oversaw the printing process to make sure that the colors came out exactly right. And so it's really a remarkably well done book.
Oh, it's such high quality.
Yeah, the quality of the book is extraordinary. So
and you know what? I couldn't believe. I think I paid $16, and it's like, oh my goodness, this book is so amazing. The quality of the paper.
Yeah, the book and everything. This is one of my award-winning flower photos. This one of that went into the loan collection once, and so that's a magnolia flower, and so that's a sample of the kind of work that I do with my flowers.
Oh.
And I do a lot of flower photos, and I do a lot of other things.
It's stunning.
Thank you. Yeah, and try to find something that's well. These are some pictures on either side here. This is a cave, and that's actually my youngest daughter when she was little.
Oh.
Some hummingbirds on the other side there, and so those are just samples of the kinds of things that are in this book. And then, of course, the surprise often is that the text going along with it is beautifully written.
Together. They're such a surprise.
Yeah. So it's a book of surprises because the text is going to be surprising in many ways. And,
right.
And that's the kind of thing that I think everybody, there's something in this book for everyone.
There is.
Myself. So. I hope people will go out and get a copy because it's really something quite beautiful. It's
extraordinary.
It's hard for me to say that about my own work, but it came out so beautifully. So.
Well, you should be so proud.
I am. I think it's terrific. I'm very proud of it.
I wonder if your music has influenced your art ability.
Well, sure. The process, of course, of the discipline that I learned very early on to become a violinist. And violin is a very difficult instrument, as people who tried it to always tell me. I don't remember too much because I don't remember a time in my life when I didn't play the violin. So I just grew up that way. But playing the violin is supposed to be one of the hardest of all instruments, and so. The discipline that it took to do that, of course, I practiced for many hours every day, and that was something I focused that I did. And so I bring that same focus to the photography and the digital artwork that I do. There's also, of course, the spiritual and mystical aspect of music. Music is a means of communication. It speaks to various people. That is the universal language. And so, in many ways, photography or artwork does the same thing, and can communicate non-verbally what we can, the ideas and thoughts that are not as easily communicated simply through words, or might need to be translated to some other language or whatever. So both of those mediums are fascinating to me because I'm able to try to communicate in ways that touch people. Without necessarily having to write down text and communicate an idea that way.
Beautiful, because you touch people's heart and you touch their soul.
Well, that's the idea. So
you do, and well, we don't have much time left. So before we leave, I wondered if. Would you have a violin there right now?
Well, yeah, I got my violin around the corner. We don't have. I don't want to play too long because you're going to be, you will take up the time with doing an interview. But sure, I'll get my violin. You've got to wait for about 20 seconds or less. Keep talking, and I'll be right back.
Okay. Well, that would be so wonderful. I'd love to hear just for a little bit. And I think everyone here would love to hear something, just a little.
Okay. Well, this is my violin, which anybody can. There's actually a picture of it in the book. I distorted it somewhat because it was an artwork, and actually a violin is made in 1728. It's a Stradivarius.
You know what? I'm just getting a notice that we're almost out of time, so I don't think we're going to be able to hear.
Okay.
Can we just have a little sound and say goodbye? Thank you. Andre, it was wonderful having you here today.
Delightful speaking with you.
Much.
I'm glad that we've had a chance to meet, and I look forward, maybe we can do it again sometime.
I'd love to.
Great.
And thank you, my audience, for being here today. And I'll look forward to seeing you, hearing you, and seeing you soon.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.